Future's brother, FBG Casino, has just been taken into custody, sparking widespread speculation. Is Future himself next on the radar? The buzz is growing because there's more to this story than meets the eye. Rico DeVille Bice and David Esteban Diaz were arrested too, facing charges tied to conspiracy and intent to distribute drugs. What makes this situation particularly alarming is that FBG Casino wasn't found in a typical setting like a recording studio. He was caught in the heart of a trap house. This puts Future in a potentially precarious position. The real concern? Some unsettling video surfaced showing Future in the very locations authorities claim were central to the illegal operation. This link is what's fueling fears that Future could be entangled more deeply than anyone anticipated. If that video lands in the wrong hands, questions will start swirling fast. Was Future unknowingly funneling cash into this operation, or was he actually closer to the core of things than anyone guessed? Federal agents' comments hint loudly that the latter might be true. So, yes, Casino is behind bars, but Future could just be one phone call away from a serious interrogation, something few are ready to face. Here's how the FBG world nearly unraveled. Between November 14th and 19th, federal authorities didn't just casually investigate, they executed a coordinated strike. When Homeland Security, the DEA, and FBI turn up together, it's never about a simple traffic violation. It's the climax of months-long surveillance. Now, imagine a low-key rental home in Forest Park, Georgia. Nothing eye-catching from the outside, yet for the feds, this Airbnb was the operational hub behind a large-scale drug network. On November 14th, the Law Enforcement Task Force arrived with precision, clearly knowing every detail. The moment they pulled up, the quiet was shattered. Casino, seeing the agents through the window, panicked and tried to escape out the side door like a seasoned fugitive. But this wasn't a run-of-the-mill police stop. Federal agents were already steps ahead, prepped to intercept him. They caught him before he even got past the doorway. A search of Casino revealed $4,000 on him, a decent sum but nothing compared to the bigger haul inside the house. What started as a routine sweep escalated instantly into a full-on bust. Authorities uncovered 21 kilograms of fentanyl, an amount signaling deep involvement in distribution. Alongside, they found over $300,000 in cash bound with rubber bands scattered between the kitchen and bedroom. To complicate matters further, another $80,000 was hidden inside a designer bag prosecutors say belonged to Casino. During the search, agents uncovered more than just drugs and cash. They also seized a Glock 19, a money counter, a vacuum sealer, and packaging materials, all classic signs of large-scale drug distribution. When law enforcement finds that mix, firearm, money, bulk product, and packaging, it quickly shifts the charges from simple possession to organized trafficking. What really sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community was the feds linking FBG Casino's operation to a nationwide fentanyl crackdown under a major federal initiative. This wasn't some isolated local dealer bust. It was a critical part of a vast, cross-country distribution network. The focus isn't just on one person, but rather on the entire enterprise behind the scenes, the supply chain fueling this operation. Those connections fueled the whirlwind of speculation about Future's involvement. Following the raid, Casino and his co-defendant, David Esteban Diaz, appeared in court on November 19th, facing conspiracy charges that carry a mandatory minimum of 10 years in federal prison and a maximum sentence of life. At 41, Casino faces a sentence that could effectively be a life term. Federal authorities descended on the property with force because they believed they had unraveled a key link in a broader network. While evading local police might be routine for some, dodging a Homeland Security task force is a whole different level. It speaks volumes about the pressure and surveillance that had been mounting before Casino even heard the officers approach. The plot thickens with a California connection. Casino's partner in crime, 23-year-old David Esteban Diaz, hails from Coachella, California. The flow of product across state lines, from West Coast suppliers to East Coast stash houses like the Forest Park location, elevates this case to federal jurisdiction. A drug network stretching from California to Georgia signals a sophisticated operation far beyond a lone dealer. And here's the kicker. Raids like this don't happen by accident. Finding 21 kilograms of fentanyl and nearly $500,000 in cash doesn't just occur randomly. It's clear someone provided intel that led the feds right to the door. This wasn't luck. It was a calculated move with insider guidance. Maybe someone caught with a smaller stash, possibly someone close to Diaz in California, tipped off the feds. This wasn't a random discovery. Agents were guided straight to the operation. Once a conspiracy charge enters the picture, the entire narrative shifts. It's no longer just about who physically held the drugs. The focus widens to who financed, stored, transported, and perhaps unknowingly backed the whole enterprise. This is where Future's name inevitably surfaces. Law enforcement always begins mapping out financial ties connected to key suspects, and in this scene, Future sits right at the top of that family tree. The danger isn't necessarily guilt, but proximity. Being this close to the core can be enough to flag your name in an investigation. Here's where things get ironic. While the feds were covertly observing, Casino was practically handing them a roadmap on a silver platter. Instead of laying low, he flaunted his lifestyle openly, posting stacks of cash, flashy cars, guns, and bravado in interviews, as if daring the authorities to follow the trail. He'd preach about the game changing, how the streets were sloppy, all while broadcasting the same reckless behavior. This type of public visibility is a trap in itself. One careless clip or screenshot can hand prosecutors the kind of evidence they crave. To make things even stranger, Casino actually appeared in one of Future's music videos, surrounded by visuals of money and drug-related imagery that mirror the very scenes the feds raided. While a music video isn't proof, it certainly weaves a compelling story for prosecutors. When your brother is a high-profile artist, those connections become impossible to ignore. Prosecutors don't necessarily need absolute truth. They just need a plausible story that brings enough pressure to make someone cooperate. What makes this whole situation even more tragic is that Casino wasn't just immersed in street life. He seemed determined to act like he had escaped it. For over 10 years, he told everyone he'd left the trap game behind. Back in 2013, he released the mixtape Extra Dealer, branding himself as a man done with the streets, focused on his music, and ready to rise alongside Future and the FBG crew. But looking back, that mixtape reads less like a rebirth and more like a red flag. After it dropped, Casino's actions didn't match the message of leaving the hustle behind. Instead, he behaved like someone unable to break free. In a 2017 interview, he was already declaring that trapping is dead, warning how the game had shifted and how folks were careless, exposing themselves by oversharing on social platforms. The irony? He was doing exactly what he criticized. Years later, Casino cruised in a Rolls-Royce, casually filming himself with heavy firearms visibly stashed in the back seat on what seemed like an ordinary day. That clip alone sparked a firestorm in the comments, with viewers pleading for him to stop, calling out his reckless behavior as self-incrimination. People were practically calling Future's fate, warning him that the government would weaponize his brother's social media clips, and as it turned out, they nailed it. Here's the critical link. Despite Future building a massive career and empire, he never completely severed ties with the street life. That lingering connection is what now puts him in the hot seat. When you're as close as Future is to someone public, wealthy, and familiar from childhood, federal agents assume those bonds stretch far beyond family ties. They dig into the whole family tree, not just a single branch. This is where Future's troubles deepen. Law enforcement isn't just chasing a stash of drugs. What really grabs their attention is the money trail behind it. If they suspect Casino funneled illicit cash into any FBG-related businesses, even accidentally, it becomes a whole new level of legal trouble: money laundering. The speculation doesn't have to be concrete for the feds to pursue it. Even something as innocent as Future covering Casino's attorney fees could be twisted in court. To fans, it's simply family supporting family. To prosecutors, it looks like a powerful figure protecting his crew, covering costs to keep them loyal, quiet, and the enterprise intact. This strategy played a major role in the YSL case, where Young Thug's legal payments were spun as proof of leadership. Now, imagine how quickly that narrative is applied to Future, a global superstar with a massive brand, a leading record label, and a brother caught with 21 kilograms of fentanyl. In the courtroom, truth takes a back seat to perception, and that's what could truly threaten Future. The task force that took down Casino isn't your everyday law enforcement team. They specialize in dismantling international criminal organizations. But what really hits hard is that Casino didn't even need the money. This shifts the story from legal troubles into something more deeply human. Casino's downfall wasn't just about drugs or cash. It was about pride. Some people refuse to rely on anyone, even if that anyone is their own brother who's worth hundreds of millions. Casino moved with a fierce determination to prove he could survive without leaning on Future's success. That stubborn independence becomes volatile when mixed with street loyalty. The people you grew up with expect you to stay loyal. The streets demand you keep contributing. The life you built before fame pulls you back, expecting to be maintained. Instead of fully stepping into the legitimate world Future created, Casino kept one, maybe both, feet rooted in a life he should have left behind nearly a decade ago. Loyalty, in this context, becomes a trap for those who don't know how to let go. And it's precisely that pride and refusal to step away that now puts Future's entire brand, label, and legacy at risk. The feds aren't interested in the why. Nostalgia, loyalty, or identity don't matter to them. The only thing that counts is that the brother of a global superstar was operating a major drug network right under their noses. The ripple effects from this arrest could transform the hip-hop world as we know it. Zooming out, collaboration with FBG Casino won't just fade away. Over the past few years, federal authorities have increasingly targeted hip-hop labels, treating lyrics like evidence and using rap culture as a tool in criminal cases. Movements like YSL, GS9, and BMF have laid the groundwork for this kind of crackdown. Now, with Casino behind bars, FBG could be in the crosshairs if prosecutors argue the label operated as a criminal enterprise. Even the possibility of that angle pulls Future right into the spotlight. Considering the scale of FBG, its vast influence, massive reach, and significant finances, any suggestion of illegal money flowing into the business, even indirectly, opens the door for the feds to dig into everything: lyrics, music videos, financial records, travel itineraries, and everyone associated with the label. If FBG becomes a target, it's a warning sign for every rapper with a collective or crew. The stakes are sky high, and the ball is now in Casino's court. Recently, he was released on bond, but the chatter hasn't died down. Social media is buzzing, breaking down every move he makes, analyzing every post and flex, fueling heated debates. Is Future truly off the hook? Did his brother's arrest put him under intense scrutiny? Was Future oblivious to warning signs? Or did Casino keep him in the dark while he built his empire? The looming question: are the feds quietly building a RICO case behind closed doors? Or is this solely about drug trafficking? Could this become the next YSL-style federal takedown? A blueprint for how Atlanta's biggest acts could face legal heat? The speculation alone is electric, energizing both the streets and online communities. In Atlanta, where the boundary between studio hustle and street life is razor-thin, every move carries weight. Every social post, every ride, every brand flaunted could be a headline or evidence. For Casino, every step is under intense scrutiny, breaking down and debated endlessly. For fans, media, and critics alike, this saga is heating up, and the waiting game is far from over. The questions keep coming, and so does the buzz. Who will speak out next? Who will stay silent? And what explosive developments lie ahead in this high-stakes drama? Buckle up. This story is far from finished, and the next chapter could hit even harder.